Y'all, getting everything set up. So, give me a minute to get this link sent out to everyone. There we go. Oh, okay. Let's get this link sent. We'll cooperate. There we go. Okay. Today's going to be a little different. I'm going to share with y'all my personal story, something that was really hard for me to go through. But was weighing on my heart really heavy last night. Let me get this link out to the group in Facebook. Hold on, y'all, I'm coming. Really want to get this link shared with everybody. That's not what I said. Oh, y'all. When you get in, let me know that you're here in comments and tell me where you're coming from. All right, there we go. And we're also going to be talking about memorial pieces because of this topic. All right, let me get that posted. Everything shut down. Let me get my gloves on and we can get started. Happy you guys are here. It's our last Friday, February. Can you believe that already? Isn't that insane? There we go. Hey, Maker. Good to see you. Hey, Melinda. From Pittsburgh. Woo! Are y'all still getting snow up there? It's kind of crazy. Let me get my handy dandy gloves on. See if I can't blow them out with my long nails. Y'all see, this is my nail. It's not fake. And sometimes my nails poke holes in these gloves. So we'll see if we can not have that happen today. All right, so let's get started. This is not an easy topic at all. It's really hard to talk about. It's really hard to go through. But like I said yesterday, it was weighing on me so heavy. And I wasn't sure why, but I just felt led that this is a topic I need to talk about today. And it's grief. I know for me, I lost my mom, and my mom and I were very, very close. Talked multiple times a day. She was just my world. And losing her, well, let me explain this part too. I am one of the very few who are blessed that was able to be with my mom when she was sick and make sure all of her last wishes were granted. We left nothing unsaid. So I don't have to carry that part of it with me. But it's a curse and a blessing at the same time because you have to watch. I'm getting choked up already. You have to watch the person you love the most dwindle away from you. And while it's a blessing, you can make sure that they're not in pain and they're not struggling. And before they got to a point that they couldn't communicate anymore, she had her every desire. Because I'm in Colorado, so I had to fly back to Mississippi to help her transition through this. It was very quick. It happened very quick. But so I said, Mom, of course I'm coming home. I'll be there. And I said, what? If you could have anything you wanted, what do you want? And this makes me laugh because she was very simple. She, toward the end of her life, had to deal with diabetes, so she managed it through her diet. She didn't have to do insulin and all that stuff. But she cut out a lot of her favorite foods. So she said, I want Krispy Kreme donuts, I want Hershey Kisses, and I want a strawberry milkshake. Those were her only wishes that she wanted. And of course, I made sure all of that happened. So she got her wish. So that is the blessing part. To help her transition and move through that was a blessing. To make sure there was nothing left unsaid, and to make sure that I knew exactly what she wanted so I wasn't left in a predicament where I had to make that decision and second guess it. So I guess if anything comes out of this today, please have those hard conversations with your loved ones. Believe me, it's hard to have, but it's so helpful in the end. Hey doll, glad you're here. Yeah, this is a hard topic, but let me tell you what I found. After my mom passed and everything went down, I came back home to Colorado. I was in a very deep depression. And grief just totally engulfed me because I went through all the steps and did everything and had mama's service back in Georgia. We took her back home to Georgia. We did all that. I made sure that was handled. My daughter, my grandbaby, I left them in Mississippi, but the plan was they're moving out here with us so I can make sure I promised my mom that they would be taken care of. So I held everything in to get through all of those stages, to be there for my children, to be there for my relatives, and to make sure everything was followed that she wanted. So when I got back home, Lord have mercy, it all just fell. And it took me into a very deep depression. I didn't want to do anything. I was very down. I slept a lot. I cried a lot. And those are all steps we have to go through with grief. So don't think you have to hold it in because it's really harmful if you do. And that's something that I learned on my own journey. I say, and I tell people all the time when it comes to grief, it's like a roller coaster. You just have to go with it. You just have to go with the flow. When it hits you, you have to let it hit you. And be in that moment. Don't try to distract yourself or don't try to ignore it or run away from it. You can't. It's always going to catch you. And it's going to hit you at the weirdest times. I mean, some stupid commercial will come on TV that didn't have anything to do with mama at all, but it just struck a nerve and poof, fell out in grief. So be prepared for those little steps. And if you have those, don't feel bad. Just allow yourself, give yourself permission to feel whatever you're feeling. It's okay. But so I made this piece for my mama. I want to make sure you can see her pretty little face. And what I did is I made this is that Let's Resin Angel mold. And I painted the inside with their silver holographic glitter for her wings. And then I did these details and highlights after it was cured with an acrylic paint pen. So I have my little reminder of my mom with me all the time. And she had blonde hair. She had green eyes, but blue works too. It matches the dress. She won't be upset. So I made myself a piece to remember my mom by. And I have this little Mary mold, and I'm sure y'all have seen me do it. It's a hat where it'll lay flat on a canvas, or you could even put it inside a cross. So there's a little Mary statue, and we have little heart molds. And if you're animal passes, we have a lot of people that want to do memorials for animals too. So you can use a heart mold like this and maybe put some hair, a paw print. You can even use this to put cremains in for your mom. Or you can use a smaller heart, those little smaller heart molds, and put some cremains in that, and then put your heart in here, put a picture of them, whatever you want to do to honor them. There's no rhyme or reason. However you feel you want to do it to best honor them, do it that way. But in talking about memorials, let's talk about the best way to practice. If you're using cremains, the best way to practice is to get sand. Sand is the closest consistency to cremains. And I will give you a few tips. First and foremost, if you have never worked with resin before, please do not try to do a memorial right off the bat, the first thing that you've ever tried resin with. Thank you, honey. I appreciate that. And if y'all are experiencing grief, or you've been in that situation too, comment and share the tips that helped you get through that. Because I'm telling you, I'm a very religious person. Some of you may or may not know that. But I really, really had a heaviness on me yesterday, just really pushing it. So somebody needs to hear this today. I don't know who it is, and you don't have to say it's you. If you don't want to, if you want to share, that's fine. But whoever this is meant for, please know I am praying for you. And it's okay to feel what you're feeling. It's okay to put things off. I'm going to tell y'all, I still have my mama's cremains, and I have not yet put them in a piece. I know that when it is time, I will get that done. So if you put it off, and it's been years, my mom died in 2017, and it still hits me at weird times. I'm really good most of the time, but sometimes it just hits you out of the blue. So if you can't do that and you feel guilty because you haven't done that yet, don't feel guilty. It's okay. You'll be able to do it when the time is right and you're supposed to do it. So don't feel bad if you haven't. And please don't feel obligated to do this right away either. Because this is my biggest fear, is that someone is going to do this, the resin piece is going to get messed up because they don't understand the basics of resin yet and how they work and how to measure it properly and make sure that it's stirred completely. And they're going to lose a special part of a person that they want to honor. So if you're brand new to resin, please learn the basics of resin and how it really works before you tackle a memorial piece. Okay, I really just don't, because for me, if that happened to me, I would be so upset. So upset that I lost those cremains. So, practice. Practice with sand, because like I said, that is the most consistent to what it will be like working with cremains. And I'm going to show you, let me mix up some resin. And I'm going to show you the best way to do that, okay? So let's pour up some resin. And I have this little heart mold, and that's what I'm going to use. And I'm going to use sand as cremains and put in here. And then you'll have a cute little heart tray or a little box. Maybe you want to put some of their jewelry in here to honor them as keepsakes. You have a little keepsake box made from their cremains. And it could be for a pet. We have a lot of people that honor their pets too. And you can use a coaster. You could use that heart that I was showing. You could use the little dog and cat. I know I have that mold somewhere. But the dog and cat, little sleeping dog and cat that Les Resin has, you could use that mold too to honor your pet. And you can do it with hair. You can do it with their cremains. You can do it with their paw prints. So that's another way too that you can do that. Let me grab a cup. Oh, we have a cup. So do y'all have any questions right now? Is this striking a nerve for anyone besides me? Maybe it was for me. Who knows? But when I feel that strong of a pull or a weight, I know it needs to be talked about for somebody. So I am obeying and I'm talking about it. So let's just pour up. I don't even know. Let's do 6 ounces. Or I will leave that. All right, there's 3 of A. And I always wipe around the top of my bottle off because I don't want resin to make the lid stick and it's hard to open. So I always wipe it off after every use. Y'all have any big plans this weekend? Are there any big festivals you're going to? Anything like that? It's really warm. Eerily too warm here. Alright, there's that. Again, I'm wiping the lid around the top of the bottle off. Throwing this in the trash. Alright, let's get this mixed up. Now we got to decide what we want to do color-wise. Get one scale out the way. Up. Guess what? I told you I had these. These little pet molds. Have you seen these? They're like little sleeping dogs and cats. They're super cute. Super, super cute. That makes for a great. In fact, let me see. Clean this out. And we'll use one of these little molds here. Or a pet one. I can show y'all. Because I actually used this for some silicone to make a squishy. My grandbaby wanted a squishy. So I've got to. But, alright, so I got that cleaned out. So we're going to do some dogs too while we're here. Why not? And I love Les Resin because they tell you how much resin you need. So this whole mold takes 18 ounces of resin. But we're not doing the whole mold. So. And this lid I'm going to put aside because I really want to show you how to work. And I'm not going to use this either. I really want to show you how to work with the sand. The best way to do that. All right. See, I've heard that resin yellows after a time. How do you deal with making preservation pieces? Well, that's true. It will yellow over time. One, use a very good resin, a high quality resin. Les Resin Teak Spurt, J Diction, Resiners, when you can find it. Um, those are all good resins that have an anti-yellow um, additive in it. And I did a piece where I poured all three of those resins into some coasters, and I made two sets. I made one set to store in a dark place and one set to expose to sunlight constantly. And I did that, and I checked them, I think, at 3 months, at 6 months, and then at a year. And I was floored. The ones in the sun did really well. They had a little tinge of yellow to them after a year for being exposed to the sun consistently every day. And the ones that I put them in a box on the top shelf of my linen closet, so it had zero exposure to light. They all turned yellow. You would be floored. I'll have to show you all that video sometime. But it was crazy. And what I found is that I took those that were yellow that had been in the dark closet and I put them in the sunlight because I wanted to see if putting it in the sunlight would activate that additive. And it did. And they all went clear. It was crazy. So, yes, make sure you're using a very good resin, high quality resin that has that additive. That will help. But yellow on your color wheel is offset by a tint, and it can be just one little drop. So you have a tint of either blue or purple, and your yellow will not show through that. So that's another good thing. Use just one little drop of transparent ink or alcohol ink, preferably transparent ink, or just one little drop of purple. And just that tint, and just a bare little hint of a tint, will keep that yellow from showing. Like, this has been probably a year and a half since I made this, and it has a tinge of yellow to it. And I really think it's from these fillers that I put in here, because I have some filler beads I put in, and I added some iridescent on the bottom of those fillers. So I think that's where that's coming from more than the resin. But that's how you get rid of it. Yep. Blue pigment. Exactly. Blue or purple. One of those two will help offset your yellow. Very good. Any other questions y'all have, let me know. While we're getting this all stirred up and mixed and ready to go. I'm in the mountains. And my resin, I should have had this done earlier. It is a little cold, which is no big deal. I'm just going to let it sit for a minute while we talk and figure out colors and so forth. And I'm going to talk about how we're going to add the sand for the cremains and how that should look. And really, the sand for the cremains and sand for your ocean pieces, you do the same way. You don't want a lot of resin because it's going to be runny and run everywhere. You want your sand damp. You just want it so it's wet. You don't want a lot of resin. That is the trick to working with sand and cremains. You don't want a lot of resin. Find my, oh, here they are. My little baby cups. Here we go. Because I'm not using it a lot. And usually when you're working with cremains, I suggest you don't use a lot so you have backup in case, God forbid, something happens and things don't turn out like we hope they will. So I'm going to get a spoon. Ooh, I thought I had one right here. Either way, I can just. Man, I thought I had my spoons right here. But they disappeared too. Like most things in my house, just grow legs and walk away. Do y'all have that problem in your house? I'm just going to use a stick to scoop out what I want to use. So I'm going to move my mama, Angel, over here out of the way. She can oversee everything. And we're going to talk about how we're going to do this resin or this sand. I'm going to set this cup here so you can really see it. And I just buy the sand from Amazon. I think I got this from Amazon. I might have gotten it from Walmart one time. But any craft store has it. It doesn't have to be anything special. This one has the bag inside of a plastic. So I twist this when I'm done with it so it doesn't spill out everywhere. So I just open my bag. And I'm just going to go in with a stick. If I had a little plastic spoon, I would use that. But I'm just going to put that in here. And I want to put it in a cup. And we're going to do 2 of these. And I don't want a lot. Because I really want you. It spills into my... All right, there we go. And now I'm just going to twist my bag up. So it closes. Stuff it in there. And then just pull these little drawstrings shut so I don't have sand spilling in my house. Hey, Tamara. Glad you're here. We're talking about grief and really the therapeutic values that we can get from art and resin. I talked about losing my mom and how that really pushed me into art. We didn't really talk about that part. Talked about losing my mom. When I came back to Colorado, I needed something to do. I needed an outlet. So I started oil painting, which I had done in the past, but it had been a very long time since I had painted anything or done anything like that. So I started oil painting again. And that was great because it distracted me and it got me out of my mind and thinking constantly about my mom. And it just like cleared. All I thought about was painting. So that really healed. And I felt like while I was painting, I was releasing into my art some of my feelings that I was going through. See? It really helps so much, y'all. And I tell you, just, get lost in your art and this is our biggest thing. This is our biggest fault. We are perfectionists. We hold ourselves to a higher standard than we hold other people, right? We have to be this. And actually, I made a coffee cup that if you click on products or whatever, you can find. I made a coffee cup with a saying on it as a reminder. We need to give ourselves the same grace that we give to other people because we too are worthy of that grace. So don't be so hard on yourself. If you make a mistake, that's great. It's okay. What is it Bob Ross always says? Happy little accidents, right? So that's what we need to start looking at instead of, oh no, I totally messed this up. It's horrible. No one's going to love it. Because that is so far from the truth. We need to be kinder to ourselves. Now, you see, I poured just a little bit of resin in here. Actually, I poured too much, to be honest, because this is that runny sand that I do not want. So I'm going to add some more sand to this. So this is the runny sand, and I really don't want this. Because if you pour this, your resin's going to spread out. That means your sand's going to spread out too. Okay? So I really want... Oh, yeah, this is way too much resin too. This is what I get for trying to do 2 things at one time, huh? So same thing here. This is way not as bad as the other one. I'll give it that. So this one's not so bad. I may just use this one as an example. So that's good. We'll use that one. But this one I need to add more sand to. Where did I put my sand? Yo, I just had, here it is. Losing my mind. So when it comes to art and grief or depression or anything else that you may be going through or struggling with, I've really found that doing art just not so much distracts us from what's going on, but gives us an outlet and a break for a minute from the grief, from the depression, you know? So give yourself, like I said, that grace. Because I know y'all, and y'all are in my group and Facebook and all that, you're very encouraging to other people, right? And I'm guilty too. We're very encouraging to other people. And we give them love, even when they've made a mistake or, they're just learning. So instead of being down on that person, we encourage them, we lift them up, right? That's what we need to do for ourselves. Why do we not do that for our own self? All right, this is better. This really isn't what I want either, but it's close enough. See how this is like more chunky? Still has a run to it, which but for this project, it's fine. For a beach project, I would add more sand to this. If I was doing an ocean theme landscape or whatever. But let's get this, and you have to constantly stir it because you see this resin is floating to the top. It's separating from the sand. So you have to stir it when you put it in your piece. So I'm going to use a stick. And I'm going to use this little guy right here. I'm just going to stir my sand. My sand. Aw, Linda. A year in April. And just lost one of my fur babies last week. Have his fur saved in ashes of my hubby I want to use. That's beautiful. And I will tell you, and I touched on this, don't rush yourself. If you're not ready to do it, don't do it. Okay? You'll know when you're ready, and you'll know when it's time. I still haven't done my mom's ashes. I just can't bring myself to do it yet. But when the time is right, I will know. Now, y'all, let me turn this way so you can see it better. All right, here's this little dog, and all I'm doing is pouring this sand, or what would be cremains, in here. Okay? Now, like I said, for a bigger piece, you can make this, pour it into a heart, and just put the little heart in like a heart cabochon, and you can put that heart inside of your animal or inside of this piece, or like the angel that I have. You can put your cremain heart into that piece. So that is separate from the rest of your design. Does that make sense? Linda, I hate that you lost your fur baby. It is so hard to lose our fur babies because they really are like family, right? So now we have this poured in. I'm just going to fill the rest with resin. And this is going to stay down there. And this is off kilter a little bit. So I'm going to stack some things under to keep this lifted. I did not check level on this before, so that's good. All right, now for this sand, I am going to put it around the edge of my heart jar. or whatever you want to call this. So I'm going to put it in, and I'm going to spread it around so it all goes down the side. And you know what? Let's do that design. Let's do only half of this with sand. That's pretty cool, huh? And the other half we can fill with whatever we want. Or nothing at all. All right. So that is what you do. And I'm just going to push this down to the side. And then I'm going to take a wipe and wipe up the sand from my heart area. He's over here out of the way. Let me get some more wipes. Y'all know I keep handy dandy wipes nearby. Alright. So I am going to wipe that off. So the sand is only, or the sand, the cremains, whatever, are only there and not here on the main area of the heart. Okay, so I have that wiped down. Now, what do I want? What colors do I want to use? What if we use what if we do, let's do that. We're just going to do some of our white. That's what I'm going to do. I will do wipe the stick off. Put a little white in here. Like that. And we use some of our sparkly Marabu. Good enough. And this is like a little shimmer white. It's gonna have that little, see that? How it has that beautiful little shimmer to it. And I'm just, I want to wipe my stick off so I get all of that incorporated. First of all. All right. I know, I love this so much. And I'm just going to pour it. Just going to leave it like that and pour it. All right. That's all we have. And maybe I'll pour the rest in this little cat. I think we have enough for him. Perfect. That worked out good. So we're going to have a little white shimmery cat that's sleeping. There we go. I like to push down in there so it bubbles out. All right, top that up. And that's all we have for that one. Now, I'm not going to do this on the sand side, but I like to do this on any of my jars. Go down the side to make sure there's no bubbles. I don't want to wipe the stick off because I don't want to push white down in there. And I really don't want to push white on the sand. I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm going to give it a spritz of alcohol. Watch how quick that cat Well, if I can. There we go. This cap will clear out. This resin's really good about releasing bubbles on its own. So I'm not too worried about these bubbles they're going to release. But that's how we do it, y'all. Like I said, I just weighing on my heart yesterday that someone needed to hear about grief and how art and resin can really help you pull out of that grief and come through the other side okay. It has really, really, really helped me. And one of the reasons I started my channel is because I want beginners to have a way to learn the basics of resin to reduce their anxiety and any stress about what they're doing when they start their craft. I wanted them to reduce the anxiety around resin to increase the benefit that this art brings us. Oh, I hope so. And that's the plan. We'll see how it turns out. And I have to do the lid, and I don't know what I'm going to do with the lid yet. I might just, well, y'all vote. You tell me right now. What should we do with the lid? Should we just leave it clear? Should we add some of this white to it? What do you think we should do? Should we do some glitter for the top and leave it clear so you can see through it? Just use the Marabu. Give me your feedback. And that's what I'll do with a lid. And I will post a short tomorrow showing the final results of these. But y'all get to choose. Should we do the heart lid with the same white? Use just the Marabu and add a little sparkle, but leave it clear so you can see. Y'all get to tell me. Maker says glitter. That would be pretty. We could do, let's see, what glitters do I have close? I have black. I don't want black. Oh, I have gold, silver, pink. Oh, I have a whole bunch right here. Green, blues. There's our pink. Clear with a little sparkle. I think I'm going to do clear with the Marabu. That's going to give it the sparkle like a glitter, but then we can still see through and see the cremains. Or the sand in this matter. I think that'll be good. Light blue translucent with the Marabu. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that would look good. So maybe we'll do the, in fact, I have green. Don't I have blue right here too? I just did something with, oh, that's coffee. Well, I have blue. I had green here too. So that's good. I think that'll sound good, Tamara. I like that. We'll do, Linda says, glitter with a touch of purple. Maybe we'll do all three of those. Blue, purple, with the Marabu to give it that sparkle like glitter. And make that the lid. And it's transparent so you can see through to the sand. What do y'all think about that? Sound like a winner? And it will look like mermaid colors. Teal and purple with some shimmer will look like a mermaid too. So I think that's what we'll do. A winner, winner, chicken dinner. Okay, so we have our plan. We're going to do a transparent blue, a transparent purple, and a touch of our Marabu to give it that glittery sparkle. So I'll do that, and I will show you guys the results in a short tomorrow. I will tag it in our Facebook group. To become a member of the Facebook group, guys, I'll put a link in the description here. Anybody can join. And then we also have a members only chat. So if you want to become a member, just click join. Click the word join and it'll walk you through. I think it's like $5 a month. Just help support the channel because none of my videos are sponsored. So I have to buy all this material and supplies on my own with your help, of course. But I'll link all that. I'll put it in the description. So anybody interested can do that. Become a member. I'll be giving more memberships away next week because we move into March. Can't believe we're already into March already, but we're here. So, y'all, I'm so glad you joined me. And for anyone that is dealing with grief right now, I wish I could give you a big hug. I can tell you that it will get better. You're still going to have times that it hits you out of nowhere and you don't know why. Just roll with the punches when it happens. It's okay. Throw yourself into art. Just let art become your outlet for whatever you're feeling. I'm telling y'all, it is such therapy. It works so well. It really pulled me out of my depression. It gave me a new purpose. So, there we go, y'all. I pray for everyone who has lost a loved one, who may be feeling the pain and suffering through grief right now, that you feel the love and the comfort and the camaraderie and family from our group. I really hope you don't feel alone. I am always here if you need to talk. I love talking to you guys, and I really, really hope that these videos, our groups on Facebook and everywhere else, are helping you learn about resin, first of all, but also feel like you're not alone in these situations. But y'all, I think I've talked enough. Again, thoughts, condolences, prayers for anyone who is suffering right now, dealing with grief and depression. Hang in there and reach out to somebody and talk if you need to. Don't hold it in. But y'all, that's all we have for this one. I will be sure to post that short and show you our results tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. All you have to do, hit subscribe. That's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Ding that bell and you'll always be notified when I go live, when I post a new video, and when I post these shorts to show you our results. But y'all, that's all for this one. Thanks for joining me on this Friday. I hope you have a wonderful weekend with your family. And until next time, happy arting. Ta-ta for now.